So today we're going to the Panama Canal. It really wasn't high on my list of places to go. I grew up on Lake Champlain's Lock 5 over the Hudson River. And we used to ride our bikes down there all the time and see the canal opening and closing and the boats going through. So it really wasn't a big deal for me. I thought, yeah, you've seen one canal, you've seen them all. But then I heard somebody say to go to Panama and not go to the Panama Canal is like going to Rome and not seeing the Colosseum. So I thought it over and decided we really probably should go. Because when anybody talks about things to see in Panama, the number one thing that they say is the Panama Canal. So given that, we decided probably ought to do it, check it out, see what we think. I wasn't disappointed. It's actually pretty cool. I don't really remember, but I think the cost to get in was like $17 a piece, which is okay considering, it is what it is. But I was a little disappointed because they have an exhibition area there that's closed off right now because they're doing renovations, so we couldn't get in there to see that. But the IMAX theater is there, and the IMAX theater is pretty cool. Morgan Freeman narrates the whole thing about how the canal was built and who built it and how long it took, and that was pretty impressive. I think it was like 45 minutes long, and it was worth the time to spend to hear that. After that, we just kind of wandered around and went to their gift shop and their snack bar because the boats don't come through all day long, and I didn't see a schedule anywhere to tell us when, but they did tell us the next boat was going to come about 2 o'clock. So we hung around, waited, had some lunch, checked everything that we could see, and then we worked our way up to the observation platform where we could watch for the boat. Now this video is going to be pretty long because I didn't really think I could cut it and do it justice to see the boats come through, but I'll try to make it as interesting as I can. I'm going to ask you to forgive my pronunciation because I'm probably going to mangle some of these words, but we'll do the best we can. The Panama Canal lies at a latitude of 9 degrees north at a point where the North American continental divide dips to one of the lowest points. The canal does not, as generally supposed, cross the isthmus from east to west. It runs due south from the entrance at Colon on the Atlantic side through the Gatun Locks to a point in the widest portion of Gatun Lake. It then turns sharply toward the east and follows the course generally to the southeast until it reaches the Bay of Panama on the Pacific side. Its terminus near Balboa is some 25 miles east of its terminus near Colon. Parallel to the canal are the Panama Canal Railway and the Boyd Roosevelt Highway. In passing from the Atlantic to the Pacific, vessels enter the approach channel in Limon Bay, which extends a distance of about 7 miles to the Gatun Locks. At Gatun, a series of 3 locks lifts vessels 85 feet to Gatun Lake. The lake, formed by Gatun Dam on the Charges River and supplemented by waters from Lake Madden, formed by the Madden Dam, covers an area of 166 square miles. The channel through the lake varies in depth from 46 to 85 feet and extends for about 23 miles to Gamboa. It begins to cut at Gamboa and passes through the Continental Divide. The channel through the cut has an average depth of about 43 feet and extends some 8 miles to the Pedro Miguel Locks. The locks lower vessels 30 feet to Miraflores Lake at an elevation of 52 feet above sea level. Vessels then pass through a channel almost 1.2 miles long to the two-stepped locks at Miraflores, where they're lowered to sea level. The final segment of the canal is a dredged approach, 7 miles long, through which ships pass into the Pacific. Throughout the length, the canal has a minimum bottom width of 500 feet. In Gatun Lake, the width of the channel varies between 500 and 1,000 feet, and in Miraflores Lake, the width is 740 feet.
Yeah, so now it's like
funcionando desde 1914, solamente con puertas de inicio la operación de Canal de Panamá. Same gates working since 1914, same gates since 1914, main and safety gates.
Canal locks operate by gravity flow of water from the lakes, which are fed by the Chagres and other rivers. The locks themselves are of uniform length, width, and depth, and were built in pairs to permit the simultaneous transit of vessels in either direction. Each lock gate has 2 leaves, 65 feet wide, 6.5 feet thick, set on hinges. The gates range in height from 46 to 82 feet, and their movements powered by electric motors recessed in the lock walls. They're operated from a control tower, which is located on the wall that separates each pair of locks, from which the flooding or emptying of the lock chambers is also controlled. The lock chambers are 1,000 feet long, 110 feet wide, and 40 feet deep. Because of the delicate nature of the original lock mechanisms, only small craft are allowed to pass through the locks unassisted. Larger craft are guided by electric towing locomotives, called mules, which operate on cog tracks on the lock walls and serve to keep the ships centered in the lock. Before a lock can be entered, a feeder chain stretched between the walls of the approach must be passed. If all is proceeding properly, the chain will be dropped into a groove at the bottom of the channel. If by any chance the ship is moving too rapidly for safety, the chain will remain stretched and the vehicle will run against it. The chain, which is operated by hydraulic machinery in the walls, then will pay out slowly by automatic release until the vessel has been brought to a stop. If the vessel should get away from the towing locomotives and breaking through the chain, it'll ram the first gate, and the second gate, 50 feet away, will protect the lock and arrest further advance. The third lock system of the third set of locks project began in 2007, and they were inspired by the Burdendrecht lock in Antwerp, Belgium, and water-saving basins used in the canals in Germany. Some 190,000 tons of steel, mostly from Mexico, are entrenched in heavily reinforced concrete to build the lock chambers on the Atlantic and Pacific sides, and the new lock gates measure up to 33 feet wide, 98 feet high, and 190 feet long. The new chambers and basins, which will control the water flowing from Gatun Lake, were designed to minimize the turbulence of water flow and the disturbance to transiting vessels. The basins were completed in June 2016 and include 158 valves consisting of 20,000 tons of structural material. Officials say that those water-saving basins are the largest in the world and facilitate a 60% reuse of water, whereas the existing locks use 52 million gallons with each use. The new locks will use 48 million gallons. As you can see here, looking at this ship, there's not a lot of room between the wall and the sides of that ship. It's pretty amazing how tight that is.
Igual que llamamos 10 días en España, detrás del Panama Canal. $200,000 to traverse the Panama Canal. Companies must pay their tolls in advance at least 2 days. Sí, 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 sí. Saludamos a todos los que están de todas partes del mundo. Esperando que estén pasando súper bien en estas instalaciones de nuestro país. Estamos en vivo y en directo del canal de nosotros. Ese es un saludo del plástico del canal que está saludando allá. ¿Ven allá? Ajá. Ahora lo tocan nosotros. That's the part of the guys. Now it's our turn. Vamos a ver nosotros, vamos a ver. Cuando yo cuente tres, vamos a ver. Cuando yo cuente tres, vamos a ver fuerte aplauso. Ellos le escuchen allá. Cuando yo cuente tres, okay, let us do the expression. When I go to tres, let's give a big round of applause. I want to hear it. Uno, dos, tres. Toda la operación es controlada por nosotros, el capitán de la nave, estoy armando. Sí, ahí está saludando, saludando, ahí en vivo, para que no hagan que cuento, the Panama Canal pilot when they are good. So it is mandatory that we need to have the Panama Canal pilot on board in the command of the vessel.
So that was our visit to the Panama Canal. Thanks for coming along with us. I hope you had as much fun as we did. As usual, if you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. We got more stuff coming we haven't finished yet. We'll see you on the next one.